Stretching has been shown to improve muscle range of motion, which can improve your ability to perform physical activities and everyday tasks. It can facilitate blood flow, help prevent injury, and some say that it improves the mind-body connection. But when I was growing up, stretching was not popular at all. Nowadays, if you're into fitness, you see it everywhere. So why has stretching become popular? And is it all it's cracked up to be? Let's first dive into some history.
The yogi's stretching can be traced back to over 3,000 years ago. Ancient warriors and martial artists were known to stretch to stay limber for battle.
Tiger style.
But in general, the necessity of things like sitting on the floor or working long hours in fields required a limber body. As we transitioned out of our survival lifestyle, long days were spent sitting in chairs, cars, and lazy boys. The need for exercise began. In the early days, it was light weights, calisthenics, and running. Then the bodybuilding craze hit.
The greatest feeling you can get in a gym is the pump.
Most men spent time pumping iron while most women opted for aerobics. At this point in time, stretching was reserved for women, yogis, gymnasts, and dancers. But then around 2010, we started hearing murmurs of this crazy new workout that flipped fitness on its head. In 2005, there were 13 CrossFit gyms. 10 years later, there were 13,000. This changed fitness forever. The interesting thing about CrossFit is it places a wide range of demands on the body. Now people were being asked to get in deep ranges of motion under a heavy load while being able to run fast and jump on gymnastic rings. Of course, not everyone was prepared for these workouts, so injuries and ailments started popping up. We realized there was something important to be this type of athlete: mobility. Leading the way on this front was Kelly Starrett.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Author of Supple Leopard, who really was the first person to popularize the term mobility, which in this context means we don't just want to be bendy for the sake of being bendy, but be able to use our ranges of motion for athletic purposes like gymnasts or martial artists. Most people who wanted to put high demands on their bodies started taking their mobility and preparation seriously. We saw the emergence of rubber bands and foam rollers, and it seemed everyone was doing deep lunge and pigeon mobilizations. Now the CrossFit craze has died down, but you know what else got popular around 2010? Screen time. Yes, we all sit and stare at computers, then take a break by staring at our phones while lounging in comfy chairs. The average tech worker is currently dealing with some type of ailment in the body. This has birthed a need for stretching, corrective exercise, and postural awareness. Just like a dog or cat who stretches after a nap, the longer we stay at rest, the more necessary it is to stretch and move our body. As a population, we have become stiff and rigid, so maybe stretching has become an antidote to the modern-day lifestyle.
Fitness is slowly shifting. There's a trend towards people wanting to do more than one activity. People want to run and lift. They want to strength train and do jujitsu, climb and do calisthenics, surf and do yoga. People are less one-dimensional, and we're developing movement practices that combine diverse athletic abilities. Knees Over Toes guy, Ben Patrick, has made flexibility for athleticism cool. He's made people realize that being strong through deep ranges of motion can benefit your athletic performance, no doubt. But he's also done a good job at spreading the idea that a fully capable joint is a healthy one. We see Movement by David making viral content about using our bodies more like we did as kids, using our natural capabilities not just for exercise, but for play and exploration. After years of lifting heavy and sweating hard, a new inspiring way of working out is emerging. We simply don't want to become stiff and rigid. We want to play with our kids, go on adventures, and feel good into our later years. And stretching is at the forefront of this conversation. If you've ever had a cast on your arm or leg, then you know that over the course of 1 to 2 months, you lose your muscle mass. But also, your range of motion fades away and you become stiff.
Now, if you look at our daily lives with far less movement than years past, you see the same phenomenon happening. If your arms never go overhead, or if your hips stay at the 90-degree angle, just like the chair crease, then your body becomes glued in these positions, just like having a cast on.
This in itself makes stretching necessary for most people, but stretching is a fluid concept. For someone who has become very stiff in the shoulders from slumping at a computer for many years, various shoulder and upper back stretches will be key to opening up those joints.
But for someone who hasn't accumulated the same stiffness, lifting a weight overhead could maintain that mobility, or doing a handstand or hanging. This highlights the real root of maintaining a healthy body.
And that is using using your range of motion often. If you feel inspired to dive into mobility, then check out our 12-week program, Master Mobility. We combine daily positions like squat and hang with higher intensity mobility sessions for maximum progress. What stands between you and a more flexible body? Most likely simply consistent effort and a good plan to get there. Make the commitment and enjoy new weekly programming from the Strength Side Boys. First link in description.
So how much range of motion is necessary? Basically, enough. Enough to not feel like you're limited in the tasks you want to perform with your body. So obviously, a gymnast is going to need more range of motion than a bodybuilder. But for most people, we just want to feel good while we're doing daily tasks, which is why the squat and the hang are so appealing. From a primal perspective, these are positions we should be able to do with our body. They're natural and functional. If we can't, then gaining them back will make us feel more comfortable in our everyday life.
Even though our society has become very inactive, we're also hyperactive in the mind, juggling work stress, family, daily tasks, and a constant stream of social media leaves us with no spare moments. And this often causes a disconnected feeling from your body. Picture the office worker who spends 8 hours a day staring at a screen, then goes to the gym for a heavy CrossFit workout. The nervous system literally never gets a break. If you implement some stretching and light movement, you may gain energy rather than just depleting it. See, stretching is probably less about actually lengthening your muscles and more about nourishing the functions of your body. And the time that you take to be present with your body, connect with your breath, and move with no big goals or intentions can actually lead to a more relaxed state. Maybe you've experienced the vacation effect. When you're away from everyday stresses, sitting on a beach somewhere, your back pain just tends to fade away and your body feels lighter. Stress usually equals tension, and stretching routines can help alleviate that if used properly. Once we understand that stretching is a concept, that means using your joints' full range of motion, we can explore the various ways that it fits into your training and life. Daily stretching routines are a great way to use your range of motion daily. Yoga and Tai Chi are prime examples of how integrating these into your life can have physical and mindful benefits. They can be quick and low in effort while bringing a meditative experience. And using your ranges of motion daily will make your mobility stay. Whenever you do something daily, you should keep the intensity low. It should almost feel easy. You can try our free daily practice link in description. Targeted mobility work will help you make real change in your body. If you've identified a lack of range of motion, you will most likely need to use some intensity to gain it back. You may find some higher intensity stretches, contract relax method, loaded stretching, and much more to be useful in this journey. Now, with higher intensities, it's more like strength training, so it'll require some time to recover. If you enjoy our style of mobility training, then check out our Master Mobility program. Full range of motion training is a great way to gain strength and flexibility. Ben Patrick popularized the deep split squat, which is a prime example of strengthening and stretching the hips, which most people could use. There's tons of forms of strength training that will also benefit your range of motion. Push-ups or dips with your hands elevated will stretch your chest and shoulders. Stiff leg deadlifts will stretch your hamstrings. Pull-ups with a pause at the hang position will stretch your back. Really, you can turn anything into range of motion training with the right intention.
Kids don't need to stretch because they use their body's abilities constantly. Using a sport or activity that encourages you to use your body's full capabilities is the best way to stay healthy and youthful. Swimming, martial arts, climbing, sprinting, dance. No one activity will be perfect, but you'll get loads of movement input into your body that you wouldn't have otherwise. A combination of these methods is likely the best way to go.
So guys, we intended this video to be a conversation about how we as a society can maintain healthier bodies into our later years. Let us know below what's worked well for you. Traditional stretching, yoga, using your strength movements as mobility work. You may help someone else by sharing your methods below. Keep moving, as always.